schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain. Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1. Hella hooked on Web 2. I was living a dream. Now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems. Topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out the off with a bit. Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1. Hella hooked on Web 2. I was living a dream. Now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems. Topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, welcome to Coffee with Captain. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Grateful that you're all here. I'm Cap, no co-host today, but we have a special guest or two kicking off a new sponsor today. A lot of exciting stuff to get into. Busy night in the news streets. Maybe not so much the crypto streets, but we do have a CPI print coming today in about 27 minutes. We will pull it up live and see what, if any, impact it has on the markets. Hopefully it's a good impact. I did just open up a long right before the show, so we will be watching that closely. And I think, yes, I am took a quick trip to the Bahamas this morning, so I will gonna enjoy the Caribbean, and we'll see how the CPI print treats us. That said, as always, never any financial advice in this show. Crypto is risky, NFTs risky, oil, it's all exceptionally risky and extremely volatile. Don't join for any financial advice, just some fun, some information, and maybe a little bit of education along the way. And now with that out of the way, I do have some, we'll say, I guess, rather appropriate cold open material, as it's not necessarily in the world of crypto, but maybe some prediction market enjoyers hit on a few of these items. But per the title, BAM. And if you're not a sports ball fan, I know we don't have Outer on today, so bear with us as we don't have our in-house sports analyst. But Bam Adebayo dropped 83 points last night. Second most ever. Well, I think the first most ever. I think the Wilt Chamberlain 100 points is a conspiracy theory, or conspiracy that he did not hit 100 points in the game. I think Kobe's 81 now, getting some flack on the timeline. While he did score 83 points, and that's been confirmed, he shot like 43 free throws to get there. The Heat were fouling relentlessly, even despite being up like 40 points, just to get Bam more attempts to the free throw line and more points. So kind of a scam. If it's at all possible to scam your way to 83 points, Bam certainly did that. But little bit of more this morning as we warm things up. Bam is dating Asia Wilson, who is a WNBA star, and to go with Bam's second most points ever in a single NBA game, his girlfriend has the second most points ever in a WNBA game. So I don't know what it means, but interesting nevertheless. Sticking with the sports cold open material, I'm getting excited about the World Baseball Classic. Actually, going to be watching Venezuela versus Dominican tonight. And while this game, it's two rivals, they're both 3-0 in their pool play. This one doesn't matter because I think both teams have locked up the pool play round and will be advancing to the elimination style bracket. U.S. yesterday, apparently their manager thought they had locked up their pool or a trip to the bracket style. If you're not familiar, it's kind of like World Cup where they got pool play. There's 4 or 5 teams in the pool, and then the top 2 teams advance to the bracket. And then I think there's 8 teams in total play single elimination to determine the champion. Well, they got beat by Italy, who's not a baseball powerhouse. He threw out not his best pitchers, whereas like the other day we saw Paul Skeens just dominate. It was like Ryan Yarbrough and I don't even know who else pitched, but it wasn't great. And in the post game press conference, like, it's weird because even though we've already punched our ticket, you want to win those games, and they have not punched their ticket. They need it's actually kind of the outcome. I think if Mexico wins, then here's the outcomes. If Italy wins, they advance and USA advances. If Mexico wins and scores more than 5 runs, then Mexico advances and the USA advances. If Mexico wins and scores less than 4 runs, then Mexico and Italy advance. So long story short, if you're rooting for the Americans today, we need either Italy to win or Mexico to win and score more than 5 runs. So if Mexico scores more than 5 runs, they're in, because whether Italy wins or Mexico wins, we need Mexico to score 5 runs or Italy win, and then we advance. It's not really that important or that meaningful, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it, and it's getting me. I'm actually going to do a baseball fantasy baseball league, which is the first time in a while. Yes, by the way, Katie, thank you for the reminder. We are back in Abstract. Abstract is live once again. So if you enjoy watching the video stream, you can find that not only on YouTube, but also X video feed. It's now live on my X and Coffee with Captain channel because we needed to turn it on mine to get the Abstract working. But that said, it did work, and we are live over there. Again, CPI coming up in a half hour. We also have banks potentially under attack, getting drawn into this war in Iran. More on that later in a bit as well. Got to see if I can fit this whole title, and I believe so. And as always, open stage today. So if there's any questions, comments, anything that you want to discuss or go a deeper dive on, whether it be topics were mentioned on the show, or whether you have questions for our guest or something entirely unrelated, but as long as it's in the crypto streets, we'll accept all nominations for topics to discuss today. CPI day and banks under cyber attack. I'm going to put question mark because we don't really know. On Coffee with Captain. I'm not saying that would be bullish crypto, but might be bullish crypto if we get additional threats in the financial streets. The long, if you're keeping score at home, the long not going well. We needed to go the other direction for my levered Bitcoin trade. It goes down too much. We're giving back the gains we hit from the ETH long print the other day, but I digress. So as we mentioned, CPI print dropping at 8:30. We will come back to that when it drops. Got Bitcoin sitting right now around 69,000. Question isn't just where inflation comes in at, but whether the number finally gives the Fed a reason to cut before this geopolitical chaos gets even worse. The Clarity Act is one vote away from collapsing in the Senate. And somehow, I don't know if we'll get into this one today or not, but we have a Bitcoin mining company in space now. Satellite just launched into orbit. It's going to be an interesting day for sure. But looking a little bit ahead, CPI is expected to be 2.5% year over year, which would be slightly up from January's 2.4. But here is the big deal this month, or non-big deal this month, is this February's data was collected. It was collected before the Iran oil spike, so that oil volatility and the chaos that ensued there is not going to be in this March print today. So we'll see. I think next month's CPI will be even more meaningful or more impactful, but we'll come back to that here in about 20 minutes. If you have any high level takes on inflation or how we think we see the market reacts, looking at some experts, we get lower than expected, so below 2.4%. The disinflation narrative reengages, Fed cuts, the odds of the Fed cutting rates would surge, and Bitcoin could push 74 to 78K maybe. If it's in line, we probably hold hopefully 69, 70K, and then all eyes will shift on that Fed meeting next week. That's a week from today, March 18th. And if we get higher than expected, 2.6 or above, kind of will crush our rate cut hopes, probably signal risk off, and we're probably looking at maybe testing that 65K support. So we will see. We know here at least the first wave in about 18 minutes, and then the 18th next month will be the big issue. I mentioned the banks looking to kill. Yes, banks under cyber attack, not because of the Clarity Act, rather with the conflict in Iran. But the Clarity Act, it passed the House 294 to 134, has bipartisan support, has the White House backing, but yet completely stalled in Senate now for months because banks don't want crypto platforms offering yield on stablecoins. Yesterday, senators floated a new compromise saying prediction markets now the prediction markets put passage only at 18%. I think that's for the year. Let me double check. Let me see what Polymarket has to say. That would be a rather not a great turn for what seemed to be inevitable at one point. Now, not looking great. So Clarity Act signed into law 2026 is still showing, that's not the best one, because that one's still showing 60%. Let me see if I can find another chart. I know I saw one unless someone was just screenshotting something. Looks like, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe 60% on the year. I'm looking for maybe it's Cauchy. So I was looking for one that has the breakdown by months, and Polymarket, I'm just seeing the total. By the way, quick, since I was talking CPI, we'll give you what the prediction markets say. Maybe this is you can live bet if you don't want to be trading Bitcoin or ETH or anything. Cauchy, with about $1 million in volume, has a CPI print coming in. So this is actually, I guess, mid-month last month, it was looking like 2.8% was forecast. Now we're down to 2.4. Above 2.3, 91% chance. Above 2.4, 48% chance. Above 2.5, only 17% chance. If you remember the from the opening there, the forecast, the consensus forecast is 2.5. So I wonder how this pays out. I'm guessing then if it's like 2.501, that would be the yes bettors would pay, but most likely looking like 2.4. which would be, if it's actually 2.4, would be below expectations. So we will see. That's where 2.4 was where it was at in January. Let me go back though to Clarity Act. Yeah, now it's showing before May only 10%, before June 40%, and before the end of the year 68%. So unlikely we see anything not just in March but April as well, and maybe we get something in May. Looks like 40% chance we get something in May, but we will see. Abstract streets are live. Yes, they are. Be epic. I know I said that was all I had on cold open. I do have one more. I buried the lead. We had one very important cold open topic today. My daughter, who has not one, not two, but 3 lacrosse games this week. First game was last night. Then we got another one tonight, and then the third one on Thursday. So back to back to back. If they were NBA players, half the team would be taking a rest day today, but they're not. They will be getting back at it today. They are playing really good. I would say like exceeding expectations of many coming into the year. They've only lost 2 games. Both of them they lost by 2 goals. In both those teams they lost to, one was like a defending state champion, and the other it only has 1 loss on the season. It happens to be to the team that they got beat by 2 as well. So playing really good. Last night they smoked the team they were playing, and my daughter had her first hat trick. So 3-goal performance in the lacrosse streets. Hopefully we can keep the streak going again today. This is the reason they've got 3 in a row. This one was rescheduled from a rain out, but pretty decent team, a team that I believe beat them last year pretty handily. So we are looking forward to keeping the streak alive heading into the second and back-to-back games. Again, if anyone has any hot takes on what we might be looking forward to here, if anyone says I'm crazy, close your long before 8:30, I might I could be convinced either way. I even shared it in the war room that while I have it open, I'm not doing so with a lot of confidence. I'm hoping we get a bounce here, and I probably won't ride it long. If we do, probably going to be rather short-lived and might just take a quick profit if there's even profits to book. Just to touch base on Pudgy World, thanks for the follow-up, Be Epic. I'm curious anyone else got in there last night, whether with yourself or any kiddos. Be Epic says, my 9-year-old son really enjoyed leveling up his penguin and playing the mini games. We battled Rog and Fish for an hour. Can anyone give me like what are, because I've got in there, we saw yesterday, played around a little bit, but I've not played all the mini games. It's not grinding or anything. What are the mini games? I saw like fishing. I know you could do. What other mini games are live in Abstract? What did your son enjoy? Any particular mini games? And I would be curious to hear like whether kids or not. What are the fun and exciting things to do? What should someone be checking out if they get into Pudgy World? Let us know. Drop that in the chat. Seeing some new listeners out there in the audience this morning. Welcome to Coffee with Captain. If you're new here, we do go live every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I will drop the link for tomorrow's show here in a bit. And you can hit that reminder. I'll pin it up top if you'd like to come join us. We typically kind of flow the show to give you an idea. We cover trending topic. Well, usually cold open. It's supposed to be 5 minutes. Sometimes it goes 30 minutes, but 5 minutes of cold open. Mostly nonsense related to things in the world that's not crypto, but occasionally some crypto nonsense will get in there also. But we go cold open, and then shortly after cold open, trading topics, news of the day, daily market update, and then around the 9 o'clock hour, 8:45 to 9, we have often when we do our special guest, we do have a sponsored interview today at 8:45. Just a brief, when I say sponsored interview, sponsored segment is more fitting. We will be highlighting some builders, courtesy of our friends over at Unvault, but not a full interview. And then in the second in the second hour of the show, kind of just wherever the morning takes us, what trending topics inspired questions or comments or interaction. And it is a very much so a participatory show. So it is an open stage. We want to be respectful. We use hands and certainly respect our guests' time. But if you want to join the conversation, you don't have to come up on stage. You're welcome to join the X audio spaces and join the conversation live, or just add your questions, comments in the chat. You can do that on any of the chats, whether it be YouTube, Abstract, or down here in the purple pill in the bottom right on the X audio spaces. Any and all will help. And while we can't guarantee we'll get to all of our questions, especially if it's pertinent to a guest, we'll do our best to get as many as possible answered before we wrap up today. And then, 8 to 10 typical days. Occasionally we go long, but that's coffee with Captain in a nutshell. And when I say it's a participatory show, no exaggeration. Like, our audience often makes the show. Sometimes it's just adding to the content, sometimes adding to the conversation, but often it is not just adding to the conversation. We'll be talking about a subject like inflation and CPI, where I'm not a macro expert. I'm not an expert on CPI, and someone will jump up on stage and they deep in those streets and can help educate the rest of us on what we might be missing. Or we'll be talking about a crypto native project or brand, and the next thing you know, we've got a team member or the founder on stage because someone in the audience is close to the team or in the project, and they shoot them a DM, and next thing you know, they're joining us on stage for an impromptu interview. Reem says, "Oh my goodness, you took me back to when I was 12. I would put this track on as I walked by to the bus section of school. I danced my way to the buses and casually embodied the diva I already was." If you missed it, that was the other thing that went viral last night from, I think Autism Capital was the one who started it, but it was, at least that's where I saw it. And I said, this was my morning post this morning, that in the midst of the greatest era of music ever, so I would say like late 90s, early 2000s, greatest era of music ever, one of the anthems during that period of time was none other than Butterfly from Crazy Town. And they also, the Autism Capital reminded me that there's kids on this app today, maybe even listeners in here today, that haven't ever heard Crazy Town before. Crazy Town, I'm hesitant. I'm going to do this. Let me know if you're getting the echo, since we're having so many audio issues with guest speakers. I might need a guest speaker to pop up, and let's test that today if you don't mind. See, hopefully that echo is gone. I really can't take credit for fixing anything, but this quick, I won't play too much because I don't want to get our YouTube count hit, but I'll give you like 5-10 seconds, maybe 5 seconds of a.
The only thing I really know is she got sex appeal. I can feel too much is never enough. You always there to lift me up when these times get rough.
Not sure it was coming through. Why I did that, I'm going to go check my speakers are, everything's set up correctly. So anyways, GM to all of our GMers, Thomas, Absolute Zero, Corona, Helpful Soul, and Crypto Pain holding down the YouTube streets. And yeah, we did touch on, Thomas says, not much of a basketball guy, but did you see that Miami Bam Adebayo scored 83 points? Yes, we hit on that earlier. And also, your more you know information today was that his girlfriend of the WNBA stardom has the second most points in a WNBA game as well. So their child in 20, 30 years is going to be the first one to actually put up over 100 points. Thank you, Be Epic. This is very helpful. I'm going to share this in case you all are looking for something to do in Pudgy World. Here is a shot of the mini games. Any of these, we got Roggen Fish, we've got Belly Board, we've got Polar Pair Up, Pudgy Pie, Pingu Path, and Polar Roller. I have not played any myself, but curious if any of those jump out as like, oh, this was great, you got to play this one. If you had to pick one, which one would you recommend? And I do like I mentioned yesterday, I like how you can identify friends. You can start building your friend group chats. Again, this may not be novel or brand new, but well done from we're talking community isn't just a buzzword. It is real here. And a lot of this industry is a lot of the value people see, what not just brings people in, but what keeps them coming back is that community. And so I think some of like I don't want to say table stakes, but some things they're doing well are the ability to identify and connect with friends in there. And then, in these mini games, having leaderboards, tracking the top people, giving people reasons to come back and play beyond just walking around an open world and exploring. I think it's a challenge with an open world is, okay, now what? Now what do I do? And I suspect that we'll see probably both. Some of these mini games swapped out for others. Maybe some stay as always on, but I think we'll also see some additional, new mini games as things progress. Yeah, Be Epic, thank you for sharing that. Very helpful. We even have a clip of a ROG in Fish Run. I'll give you that quick preview as well, and then probably go ahead and jump right into a daily market update before CPI, and we will be watching how things respond. But here is a ROG and Fish Run from Be Epic. Give you a little larger view there. Basically, trying to catch things as you reel up your fish, avoid the obstacles, catch as many fish as possible, and then shoot the fish. Okay. Again, simple, fun mini games, and I think the pudges are cute. I think it should hit with the kiddos. Crazy and cool. People like the pudgy world. Posting that, yeah, people are having fun. People are enjoying it. Teacher K said a bunch of us holders were in there last night while on Spaces with Dow Jones. Drop a pick in the chat. I'll drop a pick in the chat. Yeah, that is. I mean, it's what I like about Other Side. It's what I like about Pudgy World, and I think off to a good start on the community front. That's it. It's 8:28. Here we're going to do this. We do have, I mentioned, new sponsor today. New but old sponsor. We are running back our sponsor from last year tax season. Awaken Tax is back, and we have a $50 discount for both new and returning users. You're going to use either code COFFEE50 or return COFFEE50 for those returning users. All one word, all lowercase, COFFEE 50 or return COFFEE50. Let me play it in properly, and then I will get into the daily market update brought to you by Awaken Tax.
It's market update time. Let's set the play. Powered by Awaken, the smart tax way. From crypto flips to DeFi stacks. They keep it clean. Got your back. Grab your coffee. Let's break it down. Daily update right now.
And this is our daily market update brought to you by Awaken Tax. Awaken Tax is not only, I feel, some of the best, if not the best, crypto tax software. The team is small, nimble, and just continually drops new updates, whether it be new chains or more. For instance, if you're a Coinbase user and if you logged into Coinbase recently, you probably got the notification about this 1099 DA support. So while I would encourage you to go check out Awaken Tax and use code COFFEE50 or return COFFEE50 to get $50 off, you also have now that 1099 DA support for all the recent regulations, and it's actually free. Even if you don't pay for their Awaken subscription, you can go get the 1099 DA support, which you'll need to file using any exchange, and that is now free. Even without the subscription. Like I said, this is not, if you've been around for a while, you've probably heard of Awaken Tax. A lot of the, not just the War Room, there's dozens of people in there that use Awaken Tax, but I think become kind of the leading software of choice for the people of crypto Twitter. It just works. far better than like Coinly or some of the others that came prior. And I think one of the things that is key to understand is they're on-chain people. Duke, the founder, and the team, they're on-chain people building a product for on-chain people, and I do think that's what separates them and makes them different. They care and they obsess about making it easier to do your taxes on-chain. And while that may seem, I'm not trying to simplify it, part of the beauty is they're simplifying something that is complex. And yeah, go check them out. Awaken.tax. Use code coffee50 to get $50 off. Return coffee50. That said, the daily market update now, we're going to start with NFTs, and then we will flip over to Bitcoin, which looks like it's up a little bit on the news. If anyone has a CPI print, drop that in the chat or tag me, and we'll cover that as we shift over to crypto. But CryptoPunks, flat on the day, 29.79. Little Pudgies down 1%, 0.48. Apes are down 0.2% to 5.45. Big Pudgies up 0.2% to 4.36. Hyper is down 2.8%. Warplets, not sure what that is. It looks like maybe a free mint or maybe it's an OpenSea farm, not sure. Doodles up 5.9% on the news that Evan, one of the co-founders, is returning. They're up to 0.51. Mutants up 1.4 to 0.82. Moonbirds continue dipping a little bit, down 4% on the day to 0.96. Quirkies up slightly, but up once again 1.17. The surprise sleeper of 2026, big winner so far. And as I've shared previously, I do not think it is a coincidence when you're talking royalty protection. They moved to a royalty protected contract a while ago. They did it the hard way. We have a simple way for teams to move to royalty protected contracts now. We'll hit on that in about 15 minutes. Del Mundo's up 17% to 0.08. Might be getting run number 2 from Del Mundo's. Mochaverse up 22% again. This is 2 days in a row. They've had a big lift. Not sure what's going on in Mochaverse world, but if anyone is aware, let me know. Rest looks like Normies up 0.05, up 5% on the day. It's a newer mint that has continued to be relevant. The Nibbles 0.02 down 15%, but I think still at right around mint price if I'm not mistaken. And Good Vibes Club up 1% on the day to 0.8 ETH. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they just flew through one of the big strategy sell walls. GG's to the team. Congrats to those holders. And we will certainly continue to be following along that collection. One of my favorites, even though my exposure is limited to the honorary today. As much as I would say I'd love a dip back into the the 0.6, 0.5, 0.6 range to re-enter. I hope it keeps running for all the holders. I also noticed Pudgy Rods up 5.5%, 1.14 on the day. I assume it's just speculation that there might be added utility for the rods in Pudgy World, or was there something announced that I missed? Does anyone know why rods are running? Is it just pure speculation, or is there some added utility for those rods in Pudgy World? And that's the one thing. I know it's early, and people even said like best to not have incentives at launch for games like this. Get true users and not farmers. And while I do agree, at the same time, I do hope they reward Pudgies, little Pudgies, rod holders. I hope there's some added utility in the game at some point, even if it's not financial. Give them a reason to hold. Give them something, just like Lucas says, wants his $20 toy to be better than the $20 toy on the shelf next to it. I think if you're holding a Pudgy, a little Pudgy, a rod, you should have some extra perk in Pudgy World than someone who has no assets. That said, looking over at the majors now, Bitcoin down 1.5% on the 24-hour clock, 69,275 at this moment. ETH at $20.20 down 1.54%. BNB down about 1%. XRP down 0.32. Solana down 1.5% to $85. Tron up 1%. I mean, pretty neutral day. Down slightly. Hyperliquid, like the big winner, up 2.27%. And Fear and Greed continues to be at 25. Depends on what chart you look at. Some are saying extreme fear. And I think I saw now 6 weeks of extreme fear. Seems wild, but I hopefully that is a sign of good things to come. I was looking for the actual, I don't want to misspeak on the data. Extreme fear at I'm not seeing it. I'll do a search and come back to it if I find it. But I think, well, I not only think, I do know historically, extreme fear has been followed by all-time highs, and not saying we get that, not saying it happens imminently, but yeah, fear and greed. I just had this up too. I'll do a better job of saving that link next time. But yeah, fear and greed at extreme fear or very low fear historically has following that has led to all-time highs, and I'm confident we get there. I just don't know if it is in the next weeks, months, or even 2027. So every prior extreme fear episode, 2018, 2020, 2022, was eventually followed by new all-time highs, eventually being the key word there. Polymarket, 62% now expect Bitcoin to fall below 50,000 in 2026. Majority bearish for the first time in years. We're hearing others, deep bear market, 30% downside possible, targeting 46 to 49K. All that said, the institutions continue to buy. We've had this week, I know it's early in the week, but net inflows back 249 million, 246 million net in yesterday, 167 million on the 9th after giving back a couple days last Thursday, Friday. ETH, similar story, not as much, but back-to-back positive days as far as net inflows go. And I didn't see. Did we get a CPI print? Looks at 2.4%. So I think we are hopefully good there. I'm not seeing markets are like kind of reacting, not really. Little dip right at looks like right at the time, and now we're bounced back a little bit, but yeah, I don't. I'm trying to get some indication, some sentiment on how the market is responding to this, but it looks like pretty much kind of came in as consensus or as forecast. Maybe slightly to below, depends on who you're looking at. But keeping in mind, this data was before the Iran oil issue. So I don't know. I think we get rate cut next week. Let me see what that moved on the CPI Fed rate decision. No change. No change is priced in, I guess. 99% say no change. 1% are calling for a 25 bips decrease. So no change, or we get a slight decrease. And that seems to be like, really no movement on that today. So priced in, I guess, in a non-news event as far as CPI and Fed's cutting rates are concerned. Now, if we look ahead to April, Polymarket also showing basically no change as well, or likely to be no change. Oh, wow. We'll come back to this second. Happy 1-year anniversary to Good Vibes Club, man. Hard to believe it's been a full year, but love to see it. Congrats to Good Vibes Club. Congrats to all the mentors. Congrats to all the holders and everyone who's enjoyed that run up. Dort also said he did run around Pudgy World for a bit looking for key shards, couldn't find one, so left the game and watched basketball for the rest of the night. I feel that for open worlds, I've had the similar experience on the other side a couple times. I actually got in there to play poker, ran around for a little bit, couldn't find the poker thing. Now I could have asked, I could have DM'd someone and say, hey, where do I find this thing? It wasn't that deep. It was late at night, late for me anyways. And I just Yeah, the part of the challenge of open worlds is if it's not easy to find stuff, sometimes people, at least speaking for myself, get bored and decide just to throw in the towel and move on and do something else. I feel you, Dort. I feel you. Other CPI data say exactly the same. Haven't heard. Expect sideways chops market. Yeah, it's going to go up. It's going to go down, or it's going to chop. Those things I'm near certain of. One, if not all the above, will potentially play out, but very little movement today. Usually we get like a quick reaction and then it corrects. Not much. Market's not moving much on, at least not yet. We'll see. I mean, maybe they're waiting until Jane Street opens 10:30 and starts their dump. I don't know. I kid, but not really. We did get. I mentioned Doodle's up a little bit. They did tease, or they're going to not tease. I think they straight up said they're going to release Doodle AI next week. I just happened to see this just hit my feed. Someone says, Brian says, Doodle AI releases next week. It looks incredible, and I'll give them that. But once again, it's just another product that brings zero value back to the OG Doodle holders. Nobody is going to buy Doodle's NFTs just because Doodle's AI, especially if there's no benefit in doing so. I would go maybe one step further. I don't know what it does for the brand. I don't know. I don't know how they monetize it. I'd love to see him hit with it. I don't know. Speaking of Mochaverse, thank you, Shaolin. That definitely helps. Animoca launched Animoca Minds, which is a user-friendly AI agent, but more consumer-friendly Claude bot. Cool. I think we'll see more of that as well in terms of not AI companies doing niche AI products, but I think we could see, whether it be Doodle AI or Animoca launching their AI user-friendly AI agent. I do think we could see more of that. Most people are not going to want to mess. I opened the wrong long. I should have went with my favorite coin of the cycle, Hyperliquid, running big on the news. It's up now to $35, $35.50, up 2% on the day. But as Dobbins mentioned, the weekly chart looks pretty good. Pretty good. Bullish, Hyperliquid, and 24/7 trading. The only thing that's holding me back from my Hyperliquid bull thesis is, do we see, like Kraken just announced they're partnering with NASDAQ to launch 24/7 trading. I don't expect this to happen immediately, but that's my big question in the back of my head is, if eventually not just NASDAQ, but eventually all these brokerages, everywhere you can trade, if they all eventually become 24/7, whether on chain or not, does that eat into what Hyperliquid's market? I guess at some degree, yes. But I also think that liquidity matters, the speed matters. They've kind of won early, and I think liquidity is a moat. These others, though, you're not talking crypto native startups, rather some of the biggest brokerages, biggest platforms on the planet in terms of trading stocks and all those TradFi assets. So I remain long Hyperliquid. I have some staked and still a big fan. Thanks. Here's the details before we move on. The CPI, Zonko, thank you for sharing. 2.4% as expected. Core 2.5% year over year as expected. So basically, just hit the forecast, and markets are, I guess essentially had it already priced in, seemingly. One more topic before we move on to our sponsored segment brought to you by Unvault, but it is going to set it up. It is absolutely related. I was talking about Quirkies and the success they're having, in particular since they've moved to a royalty protected contract. And you might be thinking, well, that's hard. I don't have a dev or a small team. It can be challenging, but the process has gotten much more simple due to our friends over at Unvault and what they're introducing. But before we bring them on, I do want to look at our royalty report of the week. Might just have to add this in on a weekly basis as well, because it really, really tells a story. Looking here, we'll start with the last 7 days, and then I think we'll get our guest up on screen for a bit and do a little deeper dive. But looking at volume last 7 days, it's punks, it's penguins, it's apes, as you would expect. Then it's little pudgies, mutants. We get 2 Bored Ape Yacht Clubs on there. It's interesting. So as you would expect, the usual suspects leading in trading revenue over the past week. However, if we look at royalties over that same time period, it's Quirkies up 17 grand in royalties over the past week. The Nibbles, brand new collection, $10,000 in royalties. Good Vibes Club, celebrating their 1 year mint anniversary, another 10K. I want to see if they hit 2 mil. 1.94, just missed. Maybe they can get it today. Maybe they get it on the 2 year anniversary. But yeah, people say royalties are dead. Go tell that to Good Vibes Club, who's brought in nearly $2 million in their first year. Just absolutely incredible run. Del Mundos are leading the way over the past month. Then Normies, then Quirkies, then Good Vibes coming in at number 4, followed by Mr. Sheeb, then Bored, then Death and Taxes, then Pudgy Penguins. So you got to go all the way down to 4, 5, 6, 7 on the list before you get one of the volume leaders. That's over the last 30 days. If we look over the last week, none of them even show. None of the leading volume collections are showing on any royalty report. And you're not talking big numbers. Like Mr. Sheeb generated $3,500 in royalties in the past week. Mind blowing that you have collections like Pudgies, Apes that have done such massive. I mean, I don't know why that number is slightly off. Let me get you the correct one. Pudgies have done 1.1 million in volume in the last week, and don't even pop on a royalty report. They're getting out royaltied by Mr. Sheeb, Pinguish, Death and Taxes, Del Mundos, Normies, Shubit, Good Vibes Club, the Nibbles, and then the Quirkies at 17.3 leading the charge. Good opportunity to bring in a little intro here, and then I'll bring on Aaron, and we'll be highlighting one of the builders they're working with, who is going to be earning royalties going forward, thanks to Unvault and the royalty solution that they've introduced. Let me do a proper play in here. This is we still are searching for Payne's rapper name. So any suggestions for a proper rapper name for Payne would be appreciated. And here we go.
Yo, inside the vault, put royalties back on chain. Enforcement went optional, we bringing it back again. Freeze it at the source, then you move it with ease. Claim it where you land, one live, no duplicate keys. No rappers, no doubles, identity stays intact. Clean ownership trail, royalties paid, that's a fact. One live, no duplicate keys.
Listen to that intro and not bob your head. I dare you. Pretty tough. That said, it is time for Inside the Vault. We've got Aaron joining us on stage here. We got the Unvault account on the Spaces stage. We got a quick hit here, a 15, 20-minute Inside the Vault. We'll talk, is that Wu-Tang? Some are asking, is that Wu-Tang? Maybe so. We're not paying, hopefully our YouTube doesn't mistake it for Wu-Tang and decide to nerf us today. Because people are asking, is that Wu-Tang? But speaking of Inside the Vault here, Unvault has changed the game. They're in the process of changing the game, I should say. They are not only protecting royalties, but helping collections go multi-chain, helping with not just Unvault. Their other solution is called the Divot, which is helping holders and supporters participate in those royalties. Collection can decide how much, if any. They don't have to, but things like how much of the royalties they want to pass through to holders with certain criteria, whether they're listed or not. We're talking, Hyperliquid. I'm not sure if Hyper EVM is on the list yet, but I do know. I'm going to actually put Aaron on the spot here a little bit because a lot of talk about ordinals this week. Ordinals shutting down. There was maybe a new marketplace that popped up allowing transfers. Magic Eden pretty much rugged everyone on the ordinals front, and some people are big time mad, big time disappointed. No pressure, Aaron. I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but do we think we might see a ordinal solution from Unvault?
Good
GM.
morning, Captain, and to those of you who are watching on video, good morning. I will not be appearing on video today, only audio.
You get a pass. It's
5
early morning out there. Sometimes I think we may appreciate you being not on video at 5 o'clock in the morning. I kid. I'm sure you're a
that's a nice thing to say to your
strapping
sponsor.
young man. What we're missing on video though is that Chewbacca. So maybe on days where you're not going on video, maybe we just turn video on and have it have the camera focused on the Chewbacca.
That's what I do for all my Zoom meetings. To answer your question, Bitcoin Ordinals has been on our radar since we first came up with the idea for Unvault, patent pending. So yes, and in fact, we've been talking to some ordinal folk behind the scenes to see what the interest would be. But yes, it's always been something that we have been looking at, and we have our tech lead looking at exactly what it would take to put ordinals in. Eventually, Cap all the chains. So yes, I mean we are launching with, and those of you who have been listening to me can probably recite it along with me. We are launching on Ethereum, Ape Chain, Base, Abstract, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and Solana, just so people know that we're not just doing EVMs. It is extremely easy for us, by the way, to add new EVMs, so it won't be long before we put your favorite EVM or your least favorite EVM up on Unvault. But yeah, we plan on getting to all of the chains, and Bitcoin Ordinals has a very dedicated following, a very loyal fan base, and we can certainly help those inscriptions get to other chains in a non-encrypted way, and possibly help already existing collections also get encrypted, but not.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the way to go or not, but yes, to answer your question, we've been thinking about Bitcoin Ordinals from the start.
Yeah,
Even before Magic Eden's drama over the last week.
Yeah, pretty. It is what it is. Businesses have to make business decisions. I think how they went about it and the communications around it has been lackluster at best, if not poor. Also, quick reminder: if you have not revoked permissions, do that today. Revoke.cash when they shut down their marketplace. So here's the thing: that even though the marketplace is shut down, you want to make sure that you don't have any open approvals there, because I'm not saying their contract's going to get compromised. You never know. And you also may have a listing that's a listing, and floor prices run, things take off. You don't even realize that listing's still live, but someone's able to go in and complete the listing on contract, and you end up losing your asset that you didn't even realize was listed. So please, if you haven't already done so, go make sure you revoke your listings on Magic Eden.
Do you remember, by the way, sorry to interrupt, do you remember when apes got swept up because people, when apes were like 3 ETH, they would be like 13 ETH, haha. And then they wake up in the morning and say, well, I'm 13 ETH richer, but I lost my ape and now apes are at 15 ETH. So that exact thing happened. Especially, do you remember the whole shenanigans where people, to save gas money, didn't revoke the listings and just moved to a different wallet, and then forgot about the listing, moved back to the original wallet, and boom, the bots picked it up for a very, very cheap price.
Oh yeah. Remember well. And it's funny because you say, oh, people didn't want to pay the gas. Like, it might have been $50 to revoke a listing back then, $100 when gas was pumping. And GUI is 0.01 right now.
Right.
Go revoke your listings. It's not an excuse, and don't delay. That said, Aaron, I know we're talking multi-chain, we're talking ordinals. I do want to give proper recognition and let you talk a little bit about Bad Ted Yacht Club. Bad Teds are one of the newest teams to work with Unvault, and I'll do a share the. We got, I guess, Top Gun here joining us as well. GM Top Gun, welcome to the stage. And Bad Ted's done a good 357 ETH in volume. I have to imagine that would have been nice to get royalties on all of that ETH had you been working with Unvault. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, but on Ethereum mainnet today, and part of the thing that Unvault unlocks isn't just protecting those royalties, but does enable the multi-chain approach. Can you? I guess first of all, what? I don't want to make assumptions. I've got assumptions. I would assume part of it is that royalty. But why Unvault? What drove you to working with Unvault? And are you looking to go multi-chain? Is that one of the solutions you'll be enacting working with Unvault as well, or is it mostly just the royalty play? What are you thinking?
Well,
GM,
we're more looking at the Divi and multi-chain because we've never received the royalty. We took this project over 3 years ago and there was no royalties. We got the contract and there was no royalties. So we're actually Web2 business. We've got a sports supplement selling in Australia, America, and the UK. We're in 26 MMA gyms. We've sponsored GFC fight passes. So we've been using that money to fund NFT things like paying this for the Divi, paying for avatars on the other side. So we're trying to do what everyone else does, but we've got money coming in from Web2. And now with this Divi, we can actually give some profits back in through the Divi. And we do want to go multi-chain because we do have Solana people interested, but they don't want to come over to Ethereum. And this seems this is all in one place, so we can get royalties that we can then give a Divi, give the royalties back to holders. There's a strategy token that will help sweep up the floor. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's going to give us a utility on top of our already utility that we've got.
I love it. Tell me about you mentioned a supplement business. Was that started after you're launching the NFT project? Was that existing business and you're incorporating utility into your holder base? Tell us a little more about the supplement business.
So there was like a top table was top holders, and we asked the old founders to give us the contract, but we had a plan in play that we were going to start selling Web2 products, supplements. And we started off, we had no money. We started off with $2,000 and started selling that in New Zealand and America. And from that $2,000, we have upscaled our supplements to having around 400 to 500,000 worth of stock. And that's progressed. So we've now got 8 supplements. Gummy form, protein, BCAAs, Shellegen, pre-workout, fat burners, CMOS. So we've got
peptides. The people are asking, are peptides on the roadmap?
No, I don't know. What is peptides?
What are peptides? I mean, I don't know, Joey. If Joey's out there, Joey, what are peptides? I don't know, the latest, greatest. I'm not a fan. Just why I shouldn't say I'm not a fan. I've not used any because most require you gotta inject yourself, and I'm not a fan of needles. But here in the States, anyways, they were not illegal. Like the compounds, just like there was some regulation that made it challenging. And recently, RFK came out and said that I think 14 of the 19 leading peptides will now be able to be brands can compound them and make But yeah, it's the I don't know. I know Joey's probably shaking his head when I say this, but I would say they are like the legal version of steroids. Like they're not hardcore steroids. It's not, but like just different.
I think we'll just stick to creatine.
Creatine's probably wise.
I think we'll stick that there, and we'll stick to our pre-workout and amino acids, sort of like in gummy form. But we're extending that up further. Like we've got Matt Notap from New Zealand, who has been amazing. He's top table, top holder. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have upscaled so fast. Because him getting into 26 MMA gyms, and he's like martial arts. He's got his own events. We sponsor his fighters. I mean, it's amazing, but this us now coming over here, whenever we've seen this technology that Aaron and Ernest has built, it just gives us that little bit extra edge and give some profits back to the holders through the divvy, because we can top that up and we can do sort of events. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, Cap, and Top Gun, excuse me. First of all, we're very, very excited to work with you. We've been, big fans of you ever since we met you. But I do want to point out something here, that with the divot, you can redistribute royalties. Yes, let's just leave it at that. You can take a percentage of royalties and pay it over to your holders, but it's not just that. As Top Guns is saying, you can put anything into your wallet. So if Top Guns through their supplement business want to share, give a bonus or something that didn't come from royalties, they certainly can do that, and we can pay it out to holders. It's simple. So royalties is a big way that Bad Ted Yacht Club and other collections can reward, but it's not the only way.
So I know I'm not trying to. I know you got some patent pending technology. I also don't want you to get in trouble or say anything that you're not supposed to say or uncomfortable saying. Can you help educate us? So, I know, I love the divvy concept. I would have loved to had, especially as a long-term collector and a supporter of many brands. While I did make good money flipping NFTs, there was also some that I chose not to flip because I wanted to support the team. I wanted to be aligned with the team long term and support what they were building. And in some cases, like my PFP, part of my journey, I have zero regrets that I did not sell that thing. However, there was others that, and I shouldn't pick names, but I'll pick on Tally Labs and the Jenkins of Valley. Cool project. It was innovative at the time. It was unique. They were experimenting on chain, and I held because I liked the team and I wanted to support them. And I regret that because ultimately they pivoted out of the space. Some would say rug. That's maybe being aggressive. They had a failed business, but they kept going. And instead of bringing their holders along, they went and did something completely else. And naturally, those NFTs went to zero. I would have loved to have been able to, because I wasn't selling, holding those NFTs long term. It would have been nice to get a share of the royalties that they were generating during the mania. My question, I guess, Aaron, is how can you kind of educate us, how you're able to do this without it being considered a security?
Right. And let me say that everything I'm talking about here is patent pending. And with the divot, it's well over a year old at this point. So basically, think about it like this. There are two pools of royalties. And this was the big thing, because everybody in the heyday, they'd say, oh, we're gonna share our profits with everybody. It's like, that's great, but in the US and other countries, it's considered a security. And even if you're not in the US, almost every country in the world has, let's be dire here, an extradition treaty with the US. So you can't just share your royalties without it being considered security and without you putting yourself in jeopardy. So we did come up with the idea, okay, well, you can't do that, but we can simply pay holders a license fee to use their IP. And what it had been was just that, okay, we're the collection. We're going to let you use your own IP that you bought from us. And we flipped it and we said, okay, we're the collection, but we're going to license the IP that you bought and owned back from you. And what that means is like light social media use, a good morning post, a Bad Ted and a good morning post from Top Guns and Bad Ted Yacht Club. Not him opening up a restaurant, without a true partnership, very light stuff. And so you have to think about it like there's royalty one. Okay. Royalty pool one is the royalties you actually get from the NFTs in the project. That is technically not being split. But what you say is, okay, now we're going to put a pool two together where it's the same amount. Maybe it's 50% of that amount. Maybe it's 100% of that amount. Maybe in Top Gun's case with Bad Ted Yacht Club, maybe it's 125% of that amount. Who knows? Um, uh, and if you follow the rules set forth by the project, and each project can have different rules. A lot of them are simply don't list, but oddly enough, some of them can be do list. All right, which we can talk about at some point to get volume and notoriety up on other chains that you haven't appeared on before. Maybe Bad Ted gives a divot to those who are listing on Solana because they've never appeared on Solana before. They want the folks on Solana to know about it. Let's say they give a 50%. Well, that 50%, the same amount. Let's say it's $10,000 for that period of time. That'll go into the divot pool, so it matches the amount, but it's not the same exact. Not the same exact money, right? So it is not a security. You're not sharing your profits. You're simply paying a royalty fee that is the same number as what 50% of the royalties would be.
So I not anything you got a new comment on. That's an acceptable answer. But hearing what Top Gun was talking about, they've got their supplement business. Is that then? Am I attempting to connect some dots here? Would it be similar in the sense that the divot would allow for these crypto native brands to tie in, whether it be revenues or profits from the real life business, and share that with those holders because of this licensing approach, where the parent brand has the ability to license that IP, and therefore part of that agreement is a share of whatever revenues, royalties, whether it's on chain or off chain. Am I tracking? Is that accurate?
Ernest is the lawyer, so I can't say it's a share of.
That's why we didn't have Ernest on today. We have Aaron on, and since Ernest isn't on, I'm asking all of the legalese questions that could potentially get him in hot water.
When I miss next time, ask him how to write a joke. But point is, it can be the same amount, and it's look. You can pay whatever licensing fee you want to, right? So it doesn't have to tie to royalties on Web3. It can tie to it doesn't have to tie to anything. It's simply what the deal is. If I wanted to license your ape cap, we would only be limited by the deal that we made. We wouldn't be limited by a percentage or a number or anything. It's a completely separate deal. Now that's on the legal side. On the technical side, we've got Simple Farmer and a whole team of devs who are implementing it into our marketplace, our platform, which we just saw the first version of yesterday, by the way. Simple Farmer is the new lead dev and is doing an absolutely phenomenal job. OX Quit is our auditor, made some amazing suggestions that we're already working on. So on the tech side, it's also very innovative, but on the business side, this is what allows us to do it without, all going to a minimum security prison together.
Love it. I mean, I wouldn't love going to the minimum security prison, but I love what you're building. Do we have and I apologize if you said this, I missed it, but do we have an ETA on the marketplace? When is this, like a 2026 timeframe? Is this a March timeframe? Is this a first half of 26 timeframe? When do we think the marketplace may go live?
It's absolutely 2026. And when I say the marketplace going live, it's everything. It's the marketplace. It's the divot dashboard for founders and collections, but also for just normal folks like us. And it's also the unvault aspect where projects like Bad Ted Yacht Club, Alpha Dogs, Heavy Metal, STK, Bulls on the Block, etc., where they can appear on every chain that we support right away, and holders can transact on all those chains. Bad Ted Yacht Club can find the liquidity on all those chains, and also gives holders an opportunity to find liquidity and sell if they want to sell, not just on ETH mainnet, but everywhere that we support. It also gives founders like Top Guns, or I should call them keepers, as Uncle Mac called it, keepers of the projects, like Uncle Mac, Top Guns and his team over JP Hazelton over at Bad Ted Yacht Club. It gives them the opportunity to market and distribute to entirely new audiences of NFT collectors. As Top Guns was saying, there are people on Solana that want bad TEDs, but they're afraid to dip their feet into the ETH pool. They just don't want to. They won't have to, Top Guns. And I want to say Top Guns has been a supporter from the very beginning, and we're a supporter of his as well. If you don't know Bad Ted Yacht Club, if you don't know Alpha Dogs, they are two of the tightest communities I have seen in Web3. They show up, they support, they've been holding for years. So I will shill for him. If you don't have a bunch of Bad Ted Yacht Club NFTs, I'm not promising you anything except for a good time. Go out and grab them.
Awesome. No, Top Guns, is there anything anything that we haven't asked you about, specifically about Bad Teds, that you were hoping to share today? Like, sure, what's next? Why, other than, I mean, it's a big move working with Unvault and protecting these royalties, sharing in the revenue stream, the royalty stream with the Divot, and potentially going multi-chain. But what anything else that you were hoping to share today that we haven't had a chance to ask you yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always had a chip on my shoulder when I would way Bad Ted back in the day that, you know, it was Yoga Labs sort of didn't like it used to be called Board Ted Yacht Club, and Yoga made them change it, and obviously because we were bad. So I mean, we're doing everything that everyone else is doing without the funds. We've been around 3.5 years, and we've been doing, like, we sponsored UFC fight passes, we've sponsored fighters, we've had meetups, we've got the merch. We're now getting all the avatars put on the other side, all funded from us and Web2. We've never got any money, royalties and stuff, and we're just going to keep going. Even we helped the Alpha Dogs. Alpha Dogs is a project from where Meta Rebels used to be, but the founder died, and we were able to incorporate my skills of the supplements to start a supplement brand for the Alpha Dogs, and we've already funded Community Wallet with that. And we've actually paid for their debit as well for them to come in to unvault it. So I mean, just think everyone should maybe grab a couple of Bad Teds, Alpha Dogs, because we are like a team of 20, a top table, 20 people working at this with what they're good at. And I think at some point in the next couple of years, you'll see us turning into a blue chip. Because I mean, we're doing everything everyone else is doing. We're on the other side. We're heading the other side. We've got avatars already in there, and we've got this supplement business that is scaling quickly and fast. And we're actually looking more people from the community to actually sell this, and they can actually make money by selling the product and bringing money into the project. So we give people the option; they can actually sell and be a seller of the supplement.
Is the supplement business, is it based in New Zealand?
Yep, it's based in New Zealand.
Is international shipping available? Does it ship worldwide, or where?
We've got America based as well. We've got JP Hazelden is American. As you see behind me, I've got Ted's Den UK. That's a registered business in Britain as well. So we're registered in America, we're registered in New Zealand, we're trademarked, and we're upscaling quickly. And like, we are sponsoring professional fighters and stuff. So we're moving fast, but not many people know about us because, like I say, we're not making royalties. We're just sitting, but we're moving. And now with this Divot, I think it brings more fun and gives more back to the holders, which we can actually stream about, and we can get cross-chain to talk to Solana people, Ape chain, you know. So I think it's going to get exciting. I think on Volt's really brought some technology that's really going to help this project be seen more. But we were always working anyway, bringing revenue in.
I love it. I love the alignment, whether you're into supplements or Bad Teds or anything in between. This alignment amongst holders, supporters, even taking it a step further, where not only able to share in the royalty stream thanks to Unvault and Divot, but tap into the real world business and, you know, go from being just a brand ambassador and talking about a brand on crypto Twitter to actually participating in that distribution channel and selling said products. I know it may not be the first time someone has, you know, a direct sales supplement company or the like, but I really do think that this alignment amongst NFT holders, supporters, collectors, and not just on-chain royalties, which I'll continue to beat that drum, but bringing that into the real world business, what you're building is exciting, and I hope more follow suit and pay attention. That said, Aaron, we got to get you guys out of here. But if others wanted to learn more about Unvault, wanted to learn more about Divot, the Unvault account is on the Audio Spaces, and you guys also have a space every Tuesday and Thursday. Is that right?
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I don't think I answered your question from before. We're talking weeks in terms of the launch, not months or certainly not years. And like I said, we've already got version 1 up internally. It's quite robust. It's quite nice. And I think we're going to launch every few days. We're getting another version from Simple Farmer and his team. And so it's weeks and not months. Before we launch, though, we do have a discount on the setup fee, as well as some other perks like, hey, appearing on Coffee with Captain, like Bad Ted Yacht Club just did with Top Guns. Thank you for showing up. So, yes, reach out. Whether you're a founder, a keeper, an individual artist, or even a community member that wants to get your community involved before the launch, feel free to reach out to Unvault or to me personally.
Awesome. Aaron, appreciate you. Go check it out. Go, again, you're on the Audio Spaces. Go give Unvault a follow. Go give Bad Ted's a follow. Top Guns, thanks for joining us so much. Great to connect with you, Aaron. Pleasure as always. And I'm personally going to be looking forward to this ongoing royalty report I had flashed up there earlier, and looking forward to looking forward to seeing a Chewbacca, but also looking forward to seeing a Bad Ted's or one of the new/old existing collections that you onboard, and they start collecting royalties, the well-deserved royalties, and start popping on those royalty charts as well. But thank you for the proper sign off with the Chewbacca. Yes, it's a real. What is the thing? 6 feet tall,
7'2".
7'2". And did you see that? Like, have you traveled to Ohio recently?
No, I have not traveled to Ohio on purpose.
So has the Chewbacca left your residence? Has it been to Ohio by chance?
No, I don't believe so. I don't know what it does at night, but whenever I look, it's still right in the same spot.
I ask because I was trying to find a good image. Believe it or not, there's not a great image, but we have sightings confirmed. It's happening. Bigfoot sightings in Portage County, Ohio. Several sightings reported in the last few days. This has just updated. My screen, I think, froze. I got this is a bad Fox News link here. But yeah, the real took German Shepherd outside. The dog gets to the door, starts freaking out, lunges towards the wood line. Gentleman looks out there and sees a large black shadowy figure. The tree line's about 9 to 10 feet tall. The dog could not stop shaking. That's just one of many sightings of Bigfoot in Ohio. So
that's just,
I don't know, man.
People take the Bad Ted supplements.
That's what it is. Thanks for having us, Captain. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. One of these days, Aaron, I will get the chimes, the not the record scratch. Rim shot doesn't even come through. Yeah, it doesn't even come through. I'm not going to go back there having audio issues, but yeah, no, I appreciate all your building for the builders of the space. Top Guns, great to connect with you. Best of luck with everything, Bad Ted's, and again, I appreciate the alignment, not just in crypto, but also the real world business. And again, if you want to hear more from Aaron, Unvault, or what they're doing with Divot, go check. Again, Ernest, go check out one of their space. They do it every Tuesday, Thursday. Before you head out, Aaron, if you want to grab a link and pin it up top, you're more than welcome.
All right.
All that being said, we're going to take a quick coffee break. We'll be back in a minute 22 or less. And I've got some hot takes on this Clarity Act and what it might mean. Also, some are saying that the industry has moved on. I disagree, but hearing some, one headline, why the industry has already moved on. I'm curious your thoughts on that. But before without further ado, I gotta give our guy Payne, or as some are saying, it's not in there. It's over in the abstract chat. Sorry, A-Pin. I'm not sure. It says A-Pin, a take on Payne. Maybe not my favorite. But Bitcoin did just go over 70K. So markets seem to be slowly maybe responding to the CPI print, maybe completely unrelated. But love to see it when I opened up a long before the show. keep pumping. We'll be right back. Quick coffee break. Don't go anywhere. But Aaron and Top Guns, thanks for joining us. And Aaron, we'll look forward to continuing the conversation next week. We'll be right back talking Clarity Act. Welcome back to Coffee with Captain. As always, we are live here every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. First hour of the day, we cover trending topics, news of the day, then occasionally we'll get a special guest on here around the 8:45, 9 o'clock hour, and then finish the conversation wherever the day takes us. Today, even since I stepped away for that quick coffee break, we've went up about a good $200-300. Bitcoin up to 70,200. We let the long ride, at least for the duration of the show, and then we'll come back. Just keep the Coffee with Cap pump flowing. Would be greatly appreciated. At least flowing long enough till I can close the long. All that being said, I mentioned this Clarity Act. I think we want it. I think we want it to pass. I know we want it to be a good bill and not pass where it makes it not great regulation. I've got a few articles. I'm going to share highlights. I'm not going to read them all in details, but if anyone has any thoughts, any comments, anyone wants to get in on the Clarity Act conversation, feel free to throw a request to come up on stage or throw your questions, comments in the chat. The first one here from CoinDesk. Senators try to unlock stalled Crypto Clarity Act with compromise on stablecoin yield. As the window narrows to pass a crypto market structure bill this year, lawmakers told bankers at Washington Summit that the final bill won't risk deposits. I do have a quick question before I go on here. What is they say the window this year? Like, what is what happens if they don't reach a compromise? I guess they vote and it gets shut down. Like, what is the process after this if they don't reach compromise? What is the quote unquote window to get this thing passed? Here's what they go on to say. If anyone can educate me there on how our laws work in this country, I'd be appreciative. The American Bankers Association is lobbying Washington to close any stablecoin yield loophole they see in the Clarity Act, but senators at the summit today said they're working on a stablecoin compromise to advance the bill. Senators, crypto advocates, and bankers seem to be in agreement that keeping rewards away from static holdings of stablecoins that resemble bank accounts, because such holdings may rival traditional bank savings accounts, which I say big FU to the banks. Let your customers, let the people earn a little bit of yield, for God's sake. The potential for a major 2026 crypto bill is still dependent on a lot of things going right, including the resolution of several final points of debate and a smooth run through the tight Senate calendar. That calendar is what I'm just unsure of. What does the window look like? How soon do they need to get this done before it just dies? The U.S. banking industry has effectively lobbied to halt the crypto industry's market bill structure, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, over dispute about the proper role of stablecoin rewards. Lawmakers continue to negotiate a compromise to move the legislation forward. One of the lawmakers at the center of those talks, Senator Angela Alsobrooks, told an audience at the American Bankers Association Summit in Washington on Tuesday that both sides of the negotiation, bankers trying to limit most stablecoin rewards as a threat to traditional deposits, and the crypto industry argues that that is an important consumer incentive. Are going to be just a little bit unhappy. So basically saying that both parties are going to be a little bit unhappy. The Maryland Democrat has been working with Senator Tom Tillis, North Carolina Republican, to hash out a way to get long-delayed Senate Banking Committee to hearing on the legislation. Compromise that myself and Senator Tillis, I'm quoting here, have been working on is one that we believe will allow to have the guardrails in place that will help us prevent in all the ways we can the deposit flight that we would not want to see happen, and allow innovation to grow at the same time. Come on. Like, are we really going to see a deposit flight, or we get stablecoin yields and all of a sudden people are going to close their bank accounts and just go on chain? And if so, well, why not? Or how about this? How about banks? Maybe you offer some fair and competitive yield on deposits. I don't know. Alsobrooks goes on to say, referencing the bank's insistence that rewards on stablecoin holdings are so similar to bank deposits that people will take their money out of banks. We absolutely have to have these protections to prevent the deposit flight, but we're going to probably have to make some compromises, the senator said. Why do we absolutely have to have these protections? No one can give me a clear answer other than it's for the bank's bottom line. How does it hurt the consumer? How does it hurt the market? Please help educate me here, big banks. So far, the compromise seems to focus on the possibility that some narrow area of stablecoin activity may be eligible for customer rewards paid by crypto platforms. Last year's stablecoin law, the Genius Act, barred payment stablecoin issuers from paying interest to attract customers. He argued that unless crypto exchanges and other affiliated companies are bound by the same common sense restrictions, the result is a clear effort to evade congressional intent. Seems like, yeah, it makes me angry even reading some of this, that common sense restrictions. How about like this is the exact opposite of common sense. But anyways, I digress. I'm not going to read the rest of this. I will post the link to this article up top, as well as this one here. Also came out yesterday, why the Clarity Act could be crypto's most critical US law. I've got polarizing articles here to share with you all in closing. This one and the next one says the industry's basically moved on. I don't agree, but I will share. This says as of March 26th, so as of yesterday, the Clarity Act is poised to fundamentally reshape the United States approach to cryptocurrency regulation. It was introduced to resolve years of jurisdictional conflict between the FCC and the CFTC. The bill establishes the first comprehensive federal definitions for digital assets. Legislative effort directly addresses what industry leaders have long called a regulatory fog stifling innovation. The Act's progression through committee marks a potential turning point, offering legal certainty that trillions in institutional capital have awaited. Passage could catalyze the next phase of blockchain integration into mainstream U.S. financial system. This is important, as while stablecoin and even stablecoin yield may not be the most exciting thing to the active crypto participant or to crypto Twitter, I do think it's a big unlock for institutional capital. Not just talking ETFs and what Betty might decide to do with her 401k and allocate a little more to crypto, or John goes by some IBIT. I think while stablecoin and stablecoin yield may not directly impact some of the institutional capital, I think it is, pun intended, it will provide clarity on this industry as a whole, and I think a lot less fear or concern or what about this, the worst case scenario for some of these large institutions. And I do think it could be a major tailwind for the space at large. I'm not going to say it's going to go pump your altcoin bags, but it might. It very well could lead to a massive flight of capital into this space, and money trickles down. So these institutions, they may be looking to make more yield on their treasuries, or pay less on payments. When you talk about crypto at the point of sale and eliminating those credit card discount rate fees. This is a somewhat lengthy article as well. I'm not going to read all these in verbatim or word for word, but immediate impacts on crypto markets and businesses. Market analysis at firms like Chain Analysis project the Clarity Act could unlock over 150 billion in current sideline institutional investment within 18 months of enactment. The immediate impact would be most acute for US-based crypto exchanges, custodians, and token issuers. For the first time, they would have a clear rulebook for compliance, reducing legal overhead that often exceeds 30% of operational costs for startups. Read that again. Not only would this unlock liquidity that's been sidelined, it's also going to be a major reduction in legal overhead that often exceeds 30% of operational costs for crypto native startups. All this, the downstream effect of this, I do believe is massive. Exchange compliance platforms will now know precisely which assets require SEC broker-dealer licenses and which fall under the CFTC compliant trading venue roles, streamlining listing processes, token issuance. Also, projects can structure offerings with definitive knowledge of the regulatory path, potentially reviving U.S. leadership and blockchain innovation. And lastly, consumer protection. Clear jurisdiction allows for more coordinated enforcement against fraud, with the CFTC handling commodity fraud and the SEC handling securities fraud. Recent survey by the Blockchain Association found that 89% of member CEOs listed regulatory clarity as their top barrier to major U.S. expansion. 89% of CEOs that are members of the Blockchain Association listed regulatory clarity not as one, but as the top barrier to major U.S. expansion. And this act directly targets that concern. Again, there's more expert analysis, more to read here. But in conclusion, they go on to say this Clarity Act represents the most significant legislative effort to date to bring order to the U.S. cryptocurrency landscape by definitively allocating regulatory authority between the SEC and CFTC. It promises to reduce legal uncertainty, attract institutional investment, and provide clear consumer protections. Its functional approach to asset classification is a novel legal innovation and with global implications. Jesus. While hurdles remain in the legislative process, the bill's momentum signals a broad political recognition that the current regulatory ambiguity is unsustainable. The coming months will determine whether the U.S. seizes the opportunity to lead the next era of digital finance or cedes ground to more agile international competitors. Again, not trying to make it something it's not. I think this is a major deal for the industry at large, far beyond stablecoin yield. But what's holding this thing up is stablecoin yield, and respect to the Brian Armstrongs of the world that aren't bending the knee, that are standing firm and would rather have no regulation than bad regulation that limits some of this. The last article on this, and again, if anyone has any thoughts, questions, or comments on the Clarity Act, I know it's not the most exciting thing on a day-to-day basis, but I do think it's very exciting and important for the space long term. Dobbins in the chat says, I think they don't want a massive flight out of banks because most banks do fractional banking and don't have everyone's money on hand. So a bank run could occur on a massive scale. If they both offer yield, I see no issue, but I don't know. I'm just an ape. Yeah, I agree. That's the why behind it. I really don't think there's going to be a massive flight of capital out, or there's going to be a bank run maybe over the course of some period of time. Should people move? Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be as, at least not as fast and as extreme as some might like you to believe. This other article, though, Washington froze crypto legislative future on Sunday. By Monday, the industry had already moved on. Trump's SAVE Act ultimatum stalled the Clarity Act on March 8th. The following day, crypto's biggest names were not waiting on Washington. Neither was NVIDIA. Sunday, Trump posted on True Social that he would not sign any legislation until the SAVE Act cleared Congress, supersedes everything else, must go to the front of the line. The Save America Act is the voting reform bill. It requires proof of citizenship and government issue IDs for federal voter registration. It has passed the House and is now before the Senate, where the Democrats have signaled, that they will use every procedural tool available to block it. Has nothing to do with crypto, but its elevation to Trump's single legislative priority has everything to do with the digital, the Clarity Act, which passed the House, as we said, and it is this deciding vote now waits on Senate to decide. The Senate's floor time is finite. With the Save America Act now at the front of the queue in a drawn out procedural fight ahead of it, the legislative calendar the crypto industry was counting on has effectively been frozen. Prediction markets currently place the odds of a full Clarity Act passage in 2026 at 18%. Polymarket doesn't agree with that, at least as of this morning. The following morning, two of the most influential figures in crypto post on X. The same day, NVIDIA discloses most significant enterprise AI platform it's built. Nobody coordinated this, but read together. The three moves describe something worth paying attention to. This was, I'm alluding to the Brian Armstrong post where he said very soon more AI agents will be human, more agents than humans making transactions. Wasn't about regulation. It was about structure incompatibility between financial system and the most important new class of software being deployed right now. So basically the TLDR on this is AI and the AI advancement, these AI agents is like this regulation, this clarity is so critical because how fast things are moving. And if you believe in this agentic future and you believe a lot of this is going to take place on chain and these transactions are going to be in crypto, this, the financial infrastructure these agents need, it already exists. It exists on chain and it does not exist in the traditional banking system. No legislation required. This is, connecting these dots here, and I'll wrap with this, and then we'll get to any hands or questions, comments in the chat. It says, while none of this was coordinated, the Save America Act is a voting reform bill. Armstrong's objections to the Clarity Act are specific and technical. NVIDIA's conference schedule is set months in advance, and CZ's post is simply a prediction. But the sequence is clarifying. On Sunday, Washington signaled that crypto legislation's timeline is blocked behind a political priority that has nothing to do with digital assets. On Monday, then we've got CZ and Brian both basically said that crypto doesn't need the banking system to serve the new class of financial participants emerging right now. On the same day, the company that builds the chips powering AI and blockchain infrastructure disclosed the platform will put those agents into enterprise operations at scale. That's NVIDIA. So while the Clarity Act was designed to create regulatory certainty for crypto markets, the argument that Armstrong and CZ are making is that for an AI agentic economy, certainly not a bottleneck. The infrastructure is already built. The agent's already transacting, and the market won't be waiting for a bill. So when I say we moved on in the sense that whether the U.S. government likes it or not, things are moving forward, and the future won't be held back by Clarity Act, Save Act, or anything else that. No, Diablito, I can't reread that. My apologies. I hit my quota. Wow, we've got all kinds of anniversaries today. We've got I will pause if anyone has any additional comments, questions on the Clarity Act. I will say this: while I was reading, Bitcoin up now to $70,870. So if my longs can print like this while I read articles, we may just have what's a good alliteration? Something with cap. Reading with cap doesn't quite roll off the tongue. I need some help on what's a good segment there for when I just read things. In all seriousness, though, Bitcoin ripping. Whether I really have no idea if it was related to CPI or not. But I love to see it. The anniversaries, though, back to that. Not only did Good Vibes Club celebrate their 1-year anniversary today, 5-year anniversary. This kind of blows my mind that it's been 5 years. I know I've been here 5 years. I know it's been 5 years, but it still blows my mind when I see this. On March 11th, 2021, the artist known as Beeple sold his Everydays for $69 million, which absolutely sent the NFT space. At least started the first wave. It started bringing in all the attention. Many, like myself, we found NFTs by way of Top Shot earlier in crypto commentary with Cap. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Proof Alpha DJ. I might roll with that. Many of us found crypto, NFTs, maybe not found crypto, but found NFTs, and then jumped down that rabbit hole in January, February of 21. And then in March, on March 11th of 2021, Beeple's Everyday sold for $69 million. You can see the video here. It was at 25 million with like a minute to go, then 50 million, and ultimately closed with over 300 bids and $69 million. 69,346,420 maybe was the final sale. Brought a lot of attention. NFTs probably on Google search, Google Trends might have peaked, and then just a month later, about end of April, Bored Ape Yacht Club started minting. I believe it went live. The mint went live on 4/20, and it took about 10 days for it to mint out. On the last night of April, early morning hours of May 1st, the collection minted out and went from NFT mania into NFT PFP mania. But yeah, thanks for sharing that, Hizzy. Hard to believe that was 5 years ago. What's our next Beeple moment would be my ask. What's the next Beeple $69 million sale? What's the next Bored Ape Yacht Club mint? And I'm not even talking NFT PFPs, just active crypto participants. While I did get in the NFT rabbit hole, what it really did, Top Shot and Zed Run and Apes, it sent me down a crypto rabbit hole that I'll be forever grateful for. It turned me into someone who became very passionate about blockchain technology and on-chain builders and some of the magic that exists here. What's the next thing that's going to bring in other people who haven't experienced that yet into this world, into maybe crypto Twitter is not the greatest example of the crypto world, but for all the bad stuff, all the the grifters, the scammers, the engagement farmers that might exist on crypto Twitter, there's also a lot of incredible people, and I've made a lot of friends here, and really grateful for it. Really grateful for all of you that tune into the show. Really grateful for everyone that we hang out with in group chats, and just a lot of really talented builders that, back to this idea we were talking alignment. It is really special. I think we lost some of that when we lost royalties. Unvault and team doing their part to help bring those back. I think if you made me, and this isn't maybe a new take for me, but if you made me guess one thing, what's the next big catalyst that's going to bring in a new wave of active crypto participants? For me, it would be AI agents. Or maybe, yeah, I was going to say something agentic, but really it's AI agents on chain. I think that is the next big catalyst that will bring many people into this world. And maybe they get into this world because they launch an AI agent, they need to transact, and they realize it's easier to transact on chain. And then they start learning about Ethereum. They learn about EVM chains. They learn about, I should go build this on Mega ETH because it can scale the best if things really do take off and there's billions of agents transacting on chain. I think startup entrepreneur, whether it's an AI agent themselves or it's they launch some app that's got agents running around in, they bring it on chain to start transacting, and the next thing they know, they start listening to Coffee with Captain, or God forbid the Bankless Boys, a kid, or they go to Bitcoin Vegas or Consensus, and then they're hooked, right? I think, to me, that is a very logical, rational way that we see a new wave of active crypto participants. Could be wrong. I thought it was going to be earlier than now. I said last year I thought AI agents would be to 2025 as NFTs were to 2021. Maybe it was just a year early. Maybe it is agents are to 2026 as NFTs were to 2021. But yeah, any thoughts, any ideas? I'm curious if anyone else has any takes. What will be the next great catalyst? Or what my reading segment could be called, comprehension with Cap, that kind of hits. Pudgy World comment, other side comment. You can accrue XP in both those worlds. You can also accrue XP over on YouTube. If you didn't know that, you want to head over to YouTube, smash that like, subscribe, and start building your YouTube XP. Imagine if YouTube drops a token in 2025 or 2026 rather. That would be a big catalyst to onboarding the masses. I'll scan the chat and see if we catch up. If there's no other comments, questions, whether it's on the Clarity Act or AI agents or what the next great catalyst is, we may get you all out of here a little bit early. I say that kind of tongue in cheek because every time I suggest that, we end up going a little long. We do have Hizzy dropping more alpha in the chat. Generative Goods is now live on Art Blocks. I will pull up here and share as I'm exploring this in real time as well. Generative Goods now on Art Blocks, platform that turns digital artworks into individual style. Discover one-of-a-kind collectibles brought to life as custom-made physical objects. So basically taking your NFTs and turning them into physical goods. Visit the Generative Goods partner page at artblocks/partners/generative-goods. Here's that tab. You can see there's a, someone took an NFT and turned it into a logo on a hat. Same thing here on a bag, a recyclable bag, on a crew neck. So as makers, we believe people want more than utility. They want products and experiences with invested, unique meaning. I will say this: if we do get another NFT run, I could see this sort of stuff being very, very popular, very in demand. And thanks again for sharing, Hizzy. I guess worthy of kind of not burying the lead per se, because I'm not going to go in deep dive. But if you missed it, Meta just acquired Moltbook, which is the social media platform for the AI agents. Kind of weird, I think. Like, why would Meta acquire it versus just doing their own? Part of Zuck's acquisition strategy, he says that he believes only so many types of novel social media platforms can exist, can be created. And once someone has captured that, zeitgeist, it's harder for others to come in and build something similar. I don't know. I didn't play around on Moltbook, so maybe I'm not the most qualified to talk here. But speaking of Moltbook and OpenClaw, we also had a claw appearing on Wall Street. I believe this is real footage and real pictures. It's with the bull. It's a lobster claw or lobster, and just imagine being the founder of OpenClaw and all that's transpired in the last couple of months. I mean, Moltbook doesn't exist without OpenClaw. So OpenClaw gets acquired by OpenAI. Just extremely viral, extremely crazy growth. Moltbook was downstream of that and created this Facebook for these OpenClaw agents, in which just was acquired by Meta. Pretty wild few months. And while you might think, oh, this is an extreme example, yeah, it is. But I think this is the new normal. Maybe not normal, but this is very much in range of how things will work moving forward in terms of these one person or small teams that build quickly, sometimes with zero employees, and ultimately get acquired by one of the big powers that be, potentially rather quickly. I am here for it. I think, while yes, extreme example, not everyone's going to go build an AI startup and have even remotely close to the success of OpenClaw or what Pete did. I think we will see a lot more of this sort of activity and these startups that just go seemingly bonkers overnight. And I think it's good for creators. I think it's good for the startup ecosystem. I think it's good for VCs, and ultimately for those that are concerned over, oh my goodness, AI is going to take my job, or I might be getting hit with layoffs next year, start your side hustle. Start building something now. You don't have to go get acquired by OpenAI or Meta to have a massive win. Go start building now. Start at least experimenting. If you don't know what you want to build, start using these tools on a daily basis, and get, as the kids would say, lock in. Like, pay attention to what's happening and things. I agree. The average person won't create their own agent. Gaming is the best way to onboard, in Be Epic's opinion. Average person could have an AI agent. Make them an AI agent, though. Yeah, I just, the tech is probably the worst it's ever going to be, and at the clip it is accelerating, it's mind blowing. Last bit of news item, and then we will get you out here unless there's any. I'll double check the chat. If there's any other questions, comments, I will share. Cool Chick just posted. Thanks for sharing that. I was looking for it yesterday. Be Epic, you were asking about March Madness. I mentioned Cool Chick has a March Madness bracket on chain. The mint drops March 16th. Payouts first gets 35%, second gets 20%, third gets 12%, fourth gets 12%. That is pinned up top. Stay tuned. Again, mint is taking place on March 16th. And great part about on-chain brackets is those are NFTs, so you can sell them. You say you get all four Final Four teams, and you don't want to ride it out. Or you got three of the Final Four teams. You don't want to ride it out. You could sell your bracket. Maybe you busted early. You could buy someone else's bracket and get another sweat. So yeah, one of the things that on chain just makes it better than the off chain counterpart. And then last news item flying over, I did put a stop loss in at 70K, and we just went below 70K. So I booked a nice profit. It was a profitable show this morning. I will take it, but I would have loved to see that not get stopped out there. I would have liked to see it run a little further, but not complaining. A profit's a profit. We booked the W and move on. So 2 for my last 2. The ETH long printed, the Bitcoin long printed. We will. That's all I needed to officially kick off this one trade a day. Tune in tomorrow to see what the next print is on Coffee with Captain. Not the CPI print, but rather what trade we're going to get to print while we're live on the show. I know everyone was anxiously waiting to know whether I booked a profit on the Bitcoin long or not, but we did. For those that were all holding your breath at home. Bob caught the long last week and earned a mutant. Congrats on that. That's awesome. Woohoo is right. Love to see it. We're back right there. We just popped back above 70. So man, this is where I'll tilt. I shouldn't ice forward. If I wanted to reopen another long right now, I could, but where I get more tilted than when I book an L is when something we'll just say this hypothetical scenario, I get stopped out at 70K because it just touches it and then proceeds to rip up to 79K. I'll be pretty salty. I know I shouldn't be like that. Eyes forward and be happy with the W. And if I really was that convicted, I would open up another long right now. But I didn't have a lot of confidence in this trade. I really don't know what's happening with the market. It is very, very volatile. And that is the one thing I think is certain is volatility. Volatility continues. Thanks for sharing Be Epic and Mayhem both. This was my last news item of the day. If you've missed it, Wrecked drinks with a new collab, this time with everyone's favorite Burb. Introducing Burb Bubbly, the official collaboration of Wrecked and Moonbirds. Receive an exclusive Vibes TCG card, Wrecked drank points, and Burb with every case purchased. Win.
Bitch, but I don't even mention that she call me sugar. I'm a decent
The audio for some reason is coming through my speaker. It's the MacBook. I don't know why, but can you hear that at all? Is it coming through the mic at all, or no? Kind of off and but Burb Bubbly flavored sparkling water coming soon, powered by Wrecked. I will probably be a buyer, I guess. I've kind of slowed down on just randomly buying these, mainly because too often, more than once, I've not gotten the drank points. Tech error, user error, I don't know, but the rest of the details on this: each case of Burb Bubbly purchased will also earn you exclusive Rect and Vibes TCG card, Rect drank points, Burb. It'll be purchasable through OpenSea. That's nice. Make sure to connect your ETH wallet and your Solana wallets to rewards.rect.com. Do that now. Don't wait until drop day or post drop. Make sure both your ETH and your Solana wallets are connected. I think that's what got me last time, is I didn't have one wallet connected and ended up losing out on some drank points, which are convertible to Rect. New season of Rect Rewards starts now. Earn Rect drank points for completing quests on the Rect Rewards platform by purchasing Burb Bubbly, which comes soon. That's rewards.rect.com. Rect dranks are divided into drank from quest, drank from orders, including purchasing Burb Bubbly, and drank from quests are tracked separately to drank from orders. Multiply your drank by holding Rect coin. The amounts differ. 1 billion Rect gets you 1.2x multiplier, 10 billion, 1.3x, 100 billion, 1.4x, all the way up to, if you have a trillion, it's a 2x multiplier on your drank points. And it will apply to all drank you have earned from both shots. Selling or Rect will cause your boosts and all boosted points to be lost. Again, sign up at rewards.rect.com. Thanks again for sharing, and stay tuned for more details around the drop. Oh, it's blaring. Couldn't hear me at all. Good now. Good. I don't know what's going on then with the audio. Rect. You know what? It says Rect ain't doing so well. I haven't even looked at price. We'll do that right now, and then we'll get you out of here with a minute to spare. Rect is 42 million market cap. Fully diluted is 63 million. It is down 18% on the month. I don't know if it's that bad. Down 10% on the week. Seems kind of normal. But yeah, not great. Would love to see it higher. But yeah, down 10% on the week, 19% on the month. They did miss out on not having the can open with a zipper. That would have sent Rect back up to all-time highs had they just done a zipper can. That's, if you know, you know. Bitcoin, as we close the show out here, back above 70,000, 7,102. I actually, you know what? I do hope I have a massive tilt here. I hope it rips right up to 80K, and everyone with spot bags and those of us that are just long Bitcoin can celebrate. But I doubt it's a straight line. Probably volatility continues, if I were to guess. And looks like no rate cut next week, but maybe a 1% chance we get a rate cut on the 18th. All that being said, appreciate y'all being here this morning. Shout out to Unvault for sponsoring Inside the Vault and doing all they can to bring royalties back on chain and sharing some of those revenues with the holders and supporters of said brands. Shout out to Bad Ted for joining us today. And shout out to all of you for holding down the chat and helping add value to the conversation. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time. If you're new here, I think I pinned the link up top. Yes. If you head up top, like 3 from the left, you will find the reminder link for tomorrow's space. Go hit that and don't miss the show. If you haven't yet subscribed to YouTube, what are you doing? And go check, if you're a basketball fan, certainly go check out Cold Chicks Bracket Challenge, as well as giving Bad Ted and Unvault a follow. Appreciate y'all. Thanks so much, and hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.